Number 71 in the Radiance range is Slap the Monster on page 1 from 1972. This is a movie that I think is still quite pertinent now, even though I can get of the political climate at the time because it's set at a very volatile political time. There are things that really lead in to today's political climate as well. So we have a paper, Il Giornale, where they are very kind of right-leaning, but they have been attacked by the left as we are in the run-up to an election. And the paper starts to really kind of turn this story about how they are the victims a little bit. And during these riots that are going on at the start, where they were attacked, a young woman has been raped and murdered.
Dunque, morte per soffocazione da strangolamento. Lacerazione traumatica del limite.
Ecco, allora insistiamo sulla verginità. Torniamo in prima pagina. Mi pare giusto.
And the paper starts to focus on this story, showing how this girl was abducted, taken to a location and brutally murdered, and instead to lean towards who could possibly have done this. A leftist who was part of the riots, who was part of the political movement. And they start to splash this on the front page about how the left isn't as clean-cut as they, well, portray themselves to be.
E poi devo dirti che niente di quello che t'ho detto è vero! Lo smetterò tutti, chiaro?
Cerchiamo di non perdere il senso della realtà.
Che bella frase.
Now, the only thing that's really the problem here is Bizzanti, the editor of this paper, played by the wonderful Gian Maria Volonte, who is always worth a watch. He is the puppet master. He is controlling all aspects of this story, and he knows that this person that they've pinpointed may very well not be the culprit, but it fits into their narrative, and he's going to push that story forward. And it's this manipulation of the media, it's the use of politics, it's the people in power controlling everyone else. It's the people in the paper, Bizzanti, who thinks his readers are morons and will do whatever he says. It's this illusion to power and the ability to almost be a puppet master that becomes a real driving force of the film, and that makes it super interesting to watch.
Caso che quel Mario Boni di giorno faceva il rivoluzionario e di notte faceva il porco l'assassino.
Tu lo sai che sei peggio di quei fessi che leggono il giornale come se fosse il Vangelo?
And then, well, Volonte is always a great actor, and here being Bizzanti, the editor, he really gives a nuanced performance. How he takes a writer from his pulpit in and kind of cajoles them, molds them, shapes them into the writer that he wants, pushing them back out. And when they kind of push back a little bit, he kind of changes tack. This is a very manipulative man, and it makes for a fascinating lead character to watch. You get all these really stark images of civil unrest at the start, which are kind of shocking to see. And it looks like real newsreel footage, most of anyway. And it really adds a real powder keg moment to the film, letting you know that you are stepping into a time where everything really feels at stake, and it feels like the country's torn in two, which leads all the more into the shock and disdain for the media as they just manipulate things. The truth is over here, and that's not necessarily what they're after. What they're after is a narrative that leads into the way they want the current world to go, and that is an eternal kind of film plot structure. That's something that we can really see and attune today's world environment onto that as well.
Che cosa vuole che conti di fronte a tutto questo? L'innocenza o la colpevolezza di un qualsiasi Mario Boni?
It's great. It's a wonderful film. It's another really quick one, just over or just under 90 minutes. It flies by with these tremendous performances. This really driven, almost political thriller-like score. These stark images, the strong, disparaging difference between the left and right, and how they just antagonise and have a war with each other. It's fascinating stuff. I was drawn into this film. I loved the story. I loved Bizzanti and Volonte, the way he portrays him. his manipulative nastiness really comes out. It's a man who's without morals, and it's a great character to follow. Let's dive into the extras and see what there are on this disc. Here we are in the disc for Slap the Monster on page 1. Let's go to the special features. First up, we have Marco Bellocchio. This is an archival interview with the filmmaker, discusses his film Slap the Monster on page 1. This is just under 20 minutes, and this, he kind of talks a little bit about the film he came off of previously, In the Name of the Father, that kind of response, how he just kind of tried to get into filmmaking quickly, and how he found the film. Next up, we have Mario Assiste. This is a newly filmed interview with critic and author who provides a background analysis of the film. It was made in May 2024. I like this one a lot because he talks quite a lot about how the director was, this was a job for hire. He came on a little bit later on in the production, how he kind of focused on an almost civil war that was going on at the time, and how it still kind of fitted into his thematics throughout a lot of his films. And another welcome addition to a Radiance disc is Alex Cox. Now, here we have the fantastic Alex Cox discussing this film, giving his thoughts on the film and looking at 2 key scenes. And this was made in May 2024 and is 10 minutes in length. And can we just get Alex Cox on every release? It's a throwback to the Moviedrome days. I could listen to him just discuss film. He is a wealth of knowledge and is always a welcome addition to any disc. Also included in this set is a 20-page booklet. There is an essay in here, Say Yes to the Freedom of Order, Fake News in the Years of Lead, which talks about the Years of Lead film movement and the political climate at the time. And that's the extras for Slap the Monster on page 1. There we have it. Slap the Monster on page 1 is phenomenal. I really enjoyed this one. It's got a mystery at the heart of it to keep it kind of ticking over. Who did assault and murder this victim? But also it's got all these other moving parts that just enrich the story, enrich the thematics, and make it something really interesting. I would love to know your thoughts on Slap the Monster on page 1. So let me know in the comment box below whether you loved it, hated it, or fell somewhere in the middle. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff in the description box below, or links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.